Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to all of you. We are here in the headquarters of Rahma Worldwide to talk about the experience of our guests, volunteers who attended our medical mission to Gaza. I would like today to welcome Dr. Mo Mustafa. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome to Michigan. Welcome to Rahma Worldwide headquarters. We are honored to have you here today. And Jazakallah khair for everything you have done for the cause.
Allah yakhalli.
First of all, we want to know you.
Yes.
Give us a small introduction about you.
Yeah.
Where you born.
Yeah.
How you get attached to the cause.
Yeah.
And what makes you think seriously that I want to go to Gaza?
So, I grew up as a refugee, Palestinian refugee. I was born in Mecca. My father was born in Gaza. And I grew up in the UK. And then 8 years ago, I moved to Australia. And that's where I practiced my emergency medicine over there. And, why do people go to Gaza? I mean, it's very obvious why people go to Gaza. When you see the images that are coming out of Gaza, when you see the dehumanization. I mean, for me, it's a bit different because I am Palestinian. I'm from Gaza. I've got family in Gaza. So there was this family element to it for me. But also as well, like, growing up and watching all of these wars that have happened in Gaza, this one was different, and it was different from the start. And I just felt like this is a pivotal moment in history, not just in Palestinian history, not just in Muslim history, but in world history. We will be judged by what's happened in Gaza and our response to what happened in Gaza as human beings, not as Palestinians, not as Arabs, not as Muslims, as human beings will be judged. And I wanted to be on the right side of history, and I wanted to do right by those people in Gaza and my family.
Yeah. Tell me, like, the first time you hear about the war started in Gaza, how do you feel?
Do you know, I was actually on a night shift in Australia. And in Australia, while I was on a night shift, it was the morning time when it started. And I remember just, because you'd check your phone and you'd see these headlines, and I was just shocked at what we were seeing. And because I was working, I couldn't look at my phone too much. But you knew something big was going to happen. And then when you went home, just every news outlet covering it head to toe, every world leader.
Yeah.
And it was the rhetoric at the time that was really scary.
Yeah.
These are human animals. We're going to cut off food, water, electricity. The propaganda, the atrocity propaganda that came out about, what occurred that day. All of these things had me very worried.
Dr. Mustafa, like, from the place people used to run away from it, it's a war zone.
Yeah.
You might get shot, killed there, like God knows the situation. And you insist to make this trip. Tell me about how did you find there's a mission going from the US?
Do you know, I actually had followed Rahma on social media at the time, because obviously as a doctor, I was interested in also the medical side of things, like what was happening on the ground medically. And
you want to see who is active.
Who are the doctors that are there, what it's like out there. And I followed a few organizations, and I followed Rahma, but Rahma was one of the major ones that was bringing in large groups of doctors. It wasn't bringing in 4 or 5, it was bringing in teams of 10, 15, 20 at the time. I remember thinking, like, this, I could be part of a team like that, And I remember just following and then speaking to people, and eventually I got the number of somebody that is in charge of the missions, Dr. Farasheen, and I messaged her and I said, look, I would love to go. And she said, send me your CV. And then there was a questions and answers and an interview, and you know, she took a chance on me, and I'm really grateful for that.
So she want to make sure that your presence in Gaza will be helpful.
Yes.
So we in Rahma, like always focus. We don't want to take anyone.
Yeah.
You know, we want to take people who really can make a difference
Yeah.
and big impact on the ground.
Yes. Yes.
So you are emergency
Yes.
specialist.
Yeah.
So your work is required there.
Yeah.
And you can really, you know, make a big difference in that situation.
Yeah.
Tell me the first moment
Yeah.
you arrived to Gaza. How do you feel about this?
Do you know, it's the contrast, because outside of Gaza is farms and fields and greenery, and it's very beautiful. And then you cross this big wall that go into Gaza, and it's sand and dust and rubble.
Yeah.
And it's the contrast between the two, because you know, just outside Gaza there's fields, and there is a gas station down the road. There's restaurants a bit
Yep.
further up. And yet here we are in Gaza, and you could see aid that was on the floor that had
Yes.
fallen off trucks. You could see people who were trying to reach the aid that had fallen off the trucks, and they were being shot at.
Yeah.
And it was this contrast of two different worlds, you know, when you first go into Gaza. There's the beauty of it, that when you enter Gaza, you're entering home. And it was that feeling that I'm home, you know. And I remember the first, you know, I was at Nasser Hospital, and my cousins and my uncle came to visit me, and I remember I've never seen them before.
This is the first time.
First time. I've never met them before. I've never seen them before. I've never been allowed to get into Gaza before. And I remember I was working at Nasser Hospital, and I was, you know, seeing patients, and I was at the front as people were coming in. I remember I got a tap on my shoulder, and I turned around, and there was this guy who was even bigger than me looking at me. And I you know, I didn't know who he was, but I recognized him, and then he hugged me, and that's when I realized this is my cousin. And then as he was hugging me, I saw my uncle was just behind him, and then he came and he hugged me.
And this meeting was in the hospital.
In the
Inside the
emergency
hospital.
department, yeah.
Oh my God.
And then he started hugging me there. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is such a unique Palestinian moment, you know? Because Palestinians, we have to live between hope and despair. You know, we are always hopeful for the future. We're always hopeful one day we'll have our freedom. But it's the despair of the situation that we're in. And in that moment was that hope and despair. It was the hope that I am with my family. But it was the despair of the hospital around me.
Yeah.
And the people that were sick and dying and injured. But here I am hugging my family that I've never seen before.
That's a big
And it
thing.
was a moment of hope and despair. And I just felt like this is such a Palestinian moment. You could hear the bombs going off, but here we are as a family together.
Wow, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Tell me one story you never forget you witness in Gaza.
Do you know, there are so many stories in Gaza, there's so many patients that you've seen, so many, you know, difficult moments of injuries of patients, and so many uncomfortable moments where you feared for your safety. You know, I think for me, the second time that I went to Gaza, I went during Ramadan. And that was very unique. To be in Gaza during the war, during Ramadan.
Special time, special place.
Special time, special place. And, do you know, I remember, like, we used to work for hours in the emergency department, and it was busy. And sometimes we'd work throughout the night because they would bomb during the night. And I remember, subhanAllah, like, and you know, at the time there's the blockade that's still there now, so we were running low on food. Sometimes, you know, we would have one meal a day, and it would be a very simple meal. And I never ever felt hungry when I was in Gaza the whole time that I was there. Even though I was working and up on my feet, I never once felt hungry or thirsty, subhanAllah. Like, it just, and when we were praying, the focus at the prayer,
It's different.
it's different when you
You
focus.
taste different.
It tastes different. The food, subhanAllah, every time I ate, I would always be full. Every time I prayed, I always felt much lighter after I prayed. I concentrated more. The outside distractions of the world didn't mean anything anymore. My mind wasn't racing when I was praying. And I was, it almost felt like I learned and developed a new skill, so Gaza is very unique because it changes who you are as a person. When you go to Gaza, you're not the same person once you leave, especially after the things that you've witnessed. It will forever change you, forever live with you. And, alhamdulillah, like for those experiences in Gaza, and obviously the people that you meet as well in Gaza, and the children and the families, it's...
How did you find the people inside Gaza?
So the people of Gaza are like people everywhere in the world, right? There is always a mixed picture. There were people that were upset and struggling with what was going on. There were people that were very resilient and undeterred by what was going on. There were people that were just concerned about feeding and eating and living day to day and the safety of their children. And to me, it was a very humanizing experience going into Gaza. Because when you're outside of Gaza, you romanticize that these people are so resilient and they're amazing. And they are all of those things.
They are.
But they're also human beings.
They are, yes.
And they also feel pain and suffering. And to me, it showed me the urgency of the situation. We can't sit there and go, oh, well, the people of Gaza, they're just so strong. Like, it's okay that they're being starved. They're just, they can handle this.
Yeah.
Some people can't.
Yeah.
In Gaza. Yeah. Some people need our help so desperately. And that was the thing about, going into Gaza, is that, there is one side that dehumanizes the people of Gaza, that says that they are human shields and they're all guilty and no innocence. But then there's our side, which says, oh, they're so resilient, they're so strong. They say it's both dehumanizing language, but it's just we're dehumanizing them in different ways.
Yes.
And what we sometimes need to do is we need to refocus and humanize them in a way which these are people with diverse feelings. These are people that feel pain. These are people that some of them can't go on. These are people who are suffering mentally from what's happening.
Yep.
And I think if people understand that, it's not to take away from the resilience of Palestinian people, because they've been resilient for decades.
Yep.
What it is it's to galvanize us as the individuals watching outside to help, to push ourselves to do more, because these people need us to do more. They need us not to romanticize them. They need us to help them.
Is that give you like a new vision on your mission outside of Gaza?
It did, because I understood the urgency of the situation.
Yeah.
When you see mothers holding their children and crying, we like to romanticize that they are, that they say alhamdulillah and that's it, and they forget about it. But I've seen those mothers a week later, 2 weeks later. I've seen them still crying, still upset. I've seen their personality and the life drain out of their eyes.
Yeah.
And I've seen them struggle. And yes, she held the child and said alhamdulillah, and whatever Allah's will, I am okay with.
Yeah.
But I've also seen the effects that it has on them, because they're human beings.
Yep.
And if we start seeing them as human beings and don't push them either side, then you begin to realize that how desperate the situation is. And it made me focus that what we need to focus on is the humanitarian aspect of this.
Yep.
We need to humanize the Palestinian people again by talking honestly about them.
Yes.
Not romanticizing them. And we also need to step up the urgency of how we help them.
Perfect.
So that is something that I took away from this, and that's why I've been, advocating for them ever since.
All over. So you are here, you attended the meeting of the UN
Yes.
in New York.
Yeah.
You met with the delegation to, help you to open the corridor for the humanitarian evacuation, all of that.
Yeah.
And this is take a lot from your time, from your job.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy mission.
No, it's not.
And sometimes you find yourself getting some criticism
Yeah.
because of the people who doesn't understand
Yeah.
the type of work that we are doing as a
Yes.
humanitarians.
Yeah.
And especially those who are not familiar with the situation inside
Yeah.
inside Gaza.
Yeah.
So we want to send a message today
Yeah.
from what you feel the importance of people like us who
Yeah.
work in this field.
So I think, look, we're not governments. I'm not a government. NGOs are not governments. We have to work within a framework.
Yeah.
I have to talk to people who make these policies. Because if I want to bring in humanitarian aid, if I want to open up a humanitarian corridor, if I want to do something, it's not me that holds the keys. It's not me that has an army. It's not me that can go and address the United Nations. It's not me that can have private meetings with governments. It's not me that can decide trade agreements. It's not me that can decide to put sanctions. It's not me that can pull the ambassador. I am just a civilian. We are just civilians trying to work with these governments.
Yep.
That some of these governments are complicit in what's going on.
Yeah.
But we have to work with them in order to alleviate the humanitarian situation in Gaza. It doesn't mean that I enjoy doing this. It doesn't mean that I enjoy talking or working with them, but it's a means to an end.
Someone should do and reach to the decision makers.
Yes.
That this is something we need to be, work together to change it.
The criticism needs to go to the governments that are complicit, not to the people that are trying to help.
Perfect. That's very important.
I think that's always been the biggest problem is we are so quick to demonize people within the movement. And you have to understand, the movement has to be broad, right? We need lawyers in the movement that will go after things from a legal point of view. We need activists that go to the protests, that disrupt these politicians every week.
Yeah.
We also need people who are behind the scenes organizing fundraisers so we can buy this humanitarian food and send medical delegations. We need doctors to give up their time and their safety to go into Gaza.
Yeah.
Right? We also need humanitarians who have to talk to the other side because they control the gates to let humanitarian access in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's just the nature of it. But the movement is broad. The umbrella has to be broad because all of these points need to be hit. We need to go to the court system and challenge governments on a federal level, on a legal level. We also need to challenge them on a humanitarian level.
Yeah.
And we need to increase humanitarian supplies. We also need to challenge them on the streets and marching and protesting and making our voices heard. We also need community leaders to bring communities together and to bring other faiths in with us and have interfaith dialogues.
Yep, that's very important. Exactly.
So all of these things need to be ticked. Now look, I might have a very different viewpoint on how we free Palestine, right, than the next person. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Two things can be right at the same time. You can hold two ideas at the same time, and both of them could be different and sometimes even contradict each other, but we should hold space for all these different ideas. It's not to say that we give up on basic principles of what's right and wrong, but it's just to say that a humanitarian movement, a revolution, requires so many different facets, and sometimes these revolutions take hundreds of years.
Yep.
The Algerian revolution took over 100 years.
Yep.
So people sometimes they want things to change overnight, and they also want things to be done in one certain way. It's not the way revolutions work.
Yep.
They work with, sometimes they take a long time, sometimes they are done overnight. But either way, what they do is they are able, and the reason why certain revolutions work is because they have a consistent message. They are also flexible because there's different obstacles that get brought in. And this is what the pro-Palestine movement has been.
Dr. Mustafa, you went to Gaza twice.
Yes.
And from my observation, we in Rahma send 40 medical missions.
Yeah.
More than 500 doctors went
Yeah.
with us. And there is like something in common
Yeah.
with most of the doctors who went
Yeah.
with us. They want to go back.
Yes.
So do you wish to go back?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. I wish I can go back. You know, look, it's dangerous in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
The bombs go off. Sometimes they go off around.
It's not funny place to go.
No,
right?
it's not. It's a dangerous
So
place.
what is so special makes you want to go back?
Like I say, you go there and you're at peace, which is ironic because you're not safe, but you feel at peace. It's the people that you work with. You know, I would remember, like, you know, when I'd work in the emergency department, we would have a mass casualty event, and for 3-4 hours we are busy and dealing with this mass casualty event, and afterwards we would sit down as an emergency team, and, you know, we would have tea, and I would, you know, bring some biscuits that I brought in with me, and we would sit down and we would have tea and biscuits, and we would laugh and we would joke, and for that 5-10 minutes that we would have the tea and biscuits, it just felt like
Peaceful.
it just felt peaceful, and it felt like the world, it didn't matter what was going on in the world, it didn't matter the politics. What mattered was that I was in this room with these people, and, you know, these people have lost parents, they've lost family members, they live in tents.
Yeah.
But for that 5-10 minutes, there's this family-like feeling that we're in this together, but here we are sharing
Yep. This
food and
good
water together.
moments.
And it's these moments that really just, it creates this dynamic with these people that you work with these patients that you see, you know.
Yeah.
When you have a mother coming up to you and hugging you, saving a child's life,
Yeah, that's a big thing.
it's, yani, it gets me emotional thinking about it. Like, I just, you know, I feel like I wish I could do more.
Yeah.
Do you know, I wish I could do more. I'm just one human being with one pair of hands. I wish I was the smartest, greatest doctor in the world. Do you know, that I can go there? I wish I had all the medical resources, but I'm just one flawed human being like everybody else, trying to make a difference. And you want to go back there so you can keep trying to be better every time you go. But, you know, that's the thing with Gaza. It's like
You find yourself, you find your mission, you
Yeah.
find the meaning that
yeah,
you are in this field
Yes.
and you can save lives,
yes,
and all of this makes you happy
yes,
and make you have a peace with yourself that
yeah.
you did what you can for
Yes.
these people.
Yes,
This
yes.
is- so what is your message for volunteers who want really to go to Gaza?
Do you know, I would say to them a few things. I would say just be prepared. Be prepared spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but especially the spiritually,
Yeah.
right? Going to Gaza is not a spiritual mission, right? There are real things that you need to do there. Be prepared to work long hours. Be prepared to learn from the doctors that are there. You know, put your ego aside, listen to what they have to say. But also as well, like, be ready for this spiritually, because it is going to test you when you see the amount of dead children, when you see the lack of food, when you see the destruction. This is all going to have a huge spiritual impact on you as a human being. And you could die when you're out there. You have to make peace and amends with everything before you go there.
Yeah.
You know, as Muslims, like, that's what you have to do. And all of these things, you know, have to be ticked before you go into Gaza. It's not easy. But if you do that, like, you know, it's like when you go to Hajj or you go to Umrah, like, these are, you can feel the presence of Allah there. You can feel the presence of the angels there. Like, you can feel, you can feel your faith, your deen when you're there. Your focus on your salah will never be like it is. But you've got to be prepared for what comes with that, because the way you get to that is through working hard, being prepared while you're there, going the extra mile for these patients, knowing that there's going to be a lot of patients that will die under your hands because you don't have the medical equipment and their injuries are so severe, but being able to have to move on to the next one and to the next one and to the next one, and you might not get a success story.
You have a unique story during your presence and while you are doing your mission in Gaza. like people might not believe that
Yeah.
in that environment, in that situation, it's a
Yeah.
war zone, and someone he find his love
Yeah.
inside. That
Yeah.
can you tell us about
Yeah. I met.
how you met your bride?
Do you know, subhanallah, like I was working in the hospital in the emergency department, and I saw this doctor, and she was very smart,
Subhanallah.
very articulate. But there was one thing that drew me to her. You know, in Gaza there's compassion fatigue. The doctors have seen dead and injured children for 2 years, dead and injured people for 2 years. It can make you tired when you see this all the time, and it can take out the energy from you. But there was this one doctor that I saw that had this energy, that would see every patient, give 100%, go out of her way for every single patient. And I thought to myself, subhanallah, I was like, how can this woman have this much compassion 2 years in, still cares about every single patient like it's the first patient that
Wow.
she's seen? That's what drew me to her.
Subhanallah.
But obviously, you know, I was too scared to say anything. And it was only when we got evacuated to the south. And you know what it's like, you know, I was at my uncle's house, and they were like, why are you not married? You know, you're 30 something years old, you need to get married. And I said, well, you know, I haven't found anyone. There was a nice girl at the hospital, but you know, I didn't talk to her. And my uncle went, right, khalas, call the head of the hospital.
We will take care of this.
Yeah, he was like, call the head of the hospital. So I called the head of the hospital and I told him about this girl. And he said, her father actually works with me. He's a doctor as well. I'm going to speak to her father. So he spoke to her father, and then her father called me, and we spoke for a few hours on the phone. And then he came the next day, the father, to come meet me.
Subhanallah.
Before he spoke to his daughter, he wanted to meet me face to face. And we spoke, and he really liked me. And then the next day, he went back and he spoke to his daughter, and she agreed to come see me. Obviously, she knew who I was. So she came. Again, they came from the north to the south. They walked
Wow.
kilometers
Yes.
through this war zone to come see me. And when they came to see me, they, you know, we sat down, me and her, and she had like a checklist of questions that she wanted to ask me. She asked me all these questions.
Amazing.
And then, you know, it was for hours, we talked for hours. And then the next day, you know, well, when we left, you know, because we were in this room talking, and when we left the room, my uncle and my auntie were just very embarrassing. They were like, like they're gonna get married, and I was just like, guys, you need to calm down, right? So she said, I want to pray.
Yeah, salat istikhara.
She wanted to do that. So they went home, and then the next morning after Fajr prayer, I got a call from her father, and she said, yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. And obviously I thought, okay, and you know, we'll get engaged and we'll get to know each other, and then, you know, the next time I come to Gaza, that's what I was telling my uncle. My uncle was like, it's not how we do it here in Gaza.
You have to do it.
He was like, we're gonna do it.
Bismillah.
Yeah, he was like, we're gonna do this, and I was like, oh wow, this is big.
I'm not prepared to be.
Yeah, I was like,
have a wedding in.
I was like, I've not even bought a suit. I've not even bought a suit with me. But then he, you know, what was so funny is like, I said, so when's it gonna be? And he said, oh, it'll be on Friday. And I went, Friday, and then I joked because the Friday was 2 days away. And I joked and I said, oh, why not tomorrow? And he goes, well, we tried, but the guy that has the chairs says they're only available on Friday. And I was like, I thought to myself, like, he was being serious. Like, he really was going to make it for the next day.
Oh my God.
So, you know,
Subhanallah.
so then she came, and, you know, a couple of days later, and again, she came with her father, her mother, her little brother. And they came, and at my uncle's house, we invited the whole family. So there was hundreds of people at the house.
And the wedding
And
happened.
you know, the Israeli army provided the fireworks with their F-35s. You know, it was very romantic.
Oh my God.
And do you know, subhanallah, like I hadn't seen her, you know, even after we did Katab Liktab, we got married, I still hadn't seen her without her hijab.
Subhanallah.
Like, I purely married this woman for her character and for her compassion and her kindness.
MashaAllah.
And, you know, obviously she just got evacuated last week. And,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, so,
You know, this is a marriage of hope.
Yes.
that really give the meaning of how people of Gaza making their hopes,
Yes.
and their life is continuing
Yeah.
even with the very difficult and hardship situation.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know what you have done in Gaza, and what you are saying about this story is a unique story.
Yeah.
That showing the people of Gaza they love to live,
Yes.
they love life.
They do.
You know?
They're human beings. This is what it comes
You
back
know?
to.
Yeah.
They're human beings. Like they are like you and me. They love to celebrate. They
Yeah.
love to eat good food. They love their kids.
Yeah.
They want to see their kids grow up and have a happy life. They, you know, and they can make the best out of a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was the fact that like when we had this wedding at my uncle's house, and you know, my aunties came and my cousins, my female cousins came, and you know, and they were all dressed up.
They are.
They were all dressed up, and everyone was singing and dancing and
It's like normal life.
like normal life. And you know, we could hear the planes and the drones in the background.
Well,
We could hear the bombs going off.
oh my God.
And you know, that's what it breaks my heart, because I'm thinking to myself, like, I know when we were singing and dancing in Gaza and celebrating this wedding, I know that people were being killed in Gaza at the same time.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
You know, and you know what's unique is that they had to go back to the north of Gaza,
Mhm.
but there's only one road, and it's dangerous to go at
It
night.
is.
So they had to leave in like at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They left, so they arrived very early,
Mm.
and then they left at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to go back to their home in the north of Gaza. And then I went to work that evening. I got changed.
Next day.
Went to work same day as the wedding. Went to work, and I just can't think of anything more Ghazawi
Subhanallah.
than that. You know, it's just we have that moment of celebration, we put it to one side, and now we have to go back to the
To go
reality,
with life, to the reality of
to the
life,
reality of the
and
the
face
genocide.
all these challenges.
And face all these
So
challenges.
I'm happy that you find your love there, and we wish you the best, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And I'm happy that she arrived now
Yeah.
to Australia,
Yeah.
and but you couldn't meet her before you come to catch the meeting of the UN, right?
Yeah. Literally, she arrived at 6 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Picked her up from the airport. Took her back to the house. I, you know, set her up on a phone and filled up the fridge with all the nice food that she likes. And and then at 10 o'clock I had to leave. So I only
Oh my
got to
God.
stay with her for like 3 hours. You
Wow.
know. And I had to leave to come to the States to have these meetings. And, you know, I remember, you know, she was sad, obviously, that I was leaving. And, you know, she said to me, like, you know, we have our whole lives together. But right now, you have to do this for Gaza.
MashaAllah.
And that's what Palestinian women are like. That's what Gaza
This is
women
the side of life we want people to see in our work, especially when you are active in causes like Gaza, Yemen, Syria, Sudan.
Yeah.
When you are attached to these countries in your humanitarian work, there is a high price you have to pay.
There
Like
is,
you left your wife in your home, and you have to flew to catch a meeting in New York. This is a big thing.
Yeah.
So may Allah reward you,
Allah yakhallik.
and we are honored
Thank
to
you.
hear from you.
Thank you.
And maybe inshallah soon we will go to Gaza together, inshallah.
Inshallah.
After all of this war
Yeah.
end, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And please continue to do what you are doing.
Yeah.
Not Rahma Worldwide only.
Yeah.
All the Muslim Ummah are proud of you,
Allah yakhallik.
and people like you who have the compassion,
Yeah.
and they have the vision that they have responsibility toward their Ummah, their people in Gaza, Palestine, and everywhere else.
Allah yakhallik.
So may Allah reward you.
Allah
Thank
yakhallik.
you
Thank
so
you so
much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you barakah in your
Allah yakhallik.
life بإذن الله
Allah
تعالى.
yakhallik. Thank you so much.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
And thank you so much for everyone who follow us. Please follow our social media to get an update about upcoming medical mission. We are not sending only doctors to Gaza, but we're sending also to Sudan, Syria, and we have mission going to Yemen in January. May Allah reward you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.